decline everywhere, decline in the banking system, decline in society, decline in Joe's numbers, decline, decline, decline. Everywhere you see, everywhere you look, everywhere you be, everywhere, decline. So I did my crisis report earlier today, and of course that did well. People came out and watched the live stream, and I'm going through everything, and most of it, of course, is about the military maneuvers and all the stuff going on there. However, this story slipped in, and I thought it was interesting, and after doing a little bit of research and pretty much figured out that things are worse today than they were 13 months ago in March of 2023, when the first of a few regional banks started to go down. This is a bit of a potential for a banking run, if you will, and that's why it's a problem. Republic Bank is in Philadelphia, Republic First Bancorp, and it's basically been failing for a few months now at least. And hopefully you guys like it. I got a stabilizer today. Oh yeah, that's right. So no more shaky bakey. See? There it is. So yeah, this bank is in trouble. It basically died, and because of that, the failure is going to cost $667 million of insurance fund from the FDIC. Again, if you don't know how little the FDIC has to help, I think it's 5 to 8% depending. It might even be less at this point. So this is a major thing. These regional banks are in a lot of trouble. Why is that? Well, this actually has a lot of implications. First and foremost, commercial real estate, by and large, is distributed funding-wise for loans and such, and management and more, by regional banks. It makes more sense for a regional bank that is in a city like Birmingham, Alabama, or Nashville, Tennessee, or Boise, Idaho, to lend, to go and the local person that lives there and wants to start a barber shop or whatever the heck it is they want to do, they go to the local bank, they get the local money, and they put it into the local society. And so now what's going on is a commercial real estate version of what happened in 2008. And that's why this is such a problem, and why, honestly, it's much worse than it was in 2008. At this point, you've got commercial real estate failures starting to increase. The world in 2024 is an online world. Brick and mortar stores are not as good as they used to be. You know, they're not as, the foot traffic isn't out there. 2020, Rona came along and made some people afraid to go out in public and to do most of their shopping online. Now you've got Instacart doing groceries and stuff. So a lot of people don't go and frequent the physical space anymore. They do everything they need from an online, way. So that means that the real estate that people have been renting, the commercial spaces, whatever, are not as picked up. I mean, there are entire malls in our area that are basically vacant. And I'm sure in a lot of the areas where you're at, it's the same type of thing. These malls are, huge and voluminous and, millions of square feet, and they can't even keep an anchor store, something like a Dillard's or, I don't even know if Dillard's is still around, a Kohl's, something like that. They can't keep them there. So that means that loans don't get paid back. When you're loaning to people and they can't pay you back, that tends to make your bank go out of business. Okay? So this is a problem. It's been taken by Fulton Bank. There's one of those around us. This is generally in our area. It's New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York. Fulton Bank has basically taken it. Receivership has been done by the FDIC. But the problem with all this is that there's actually a larger story that's not really being reported here and by most people. What's going on now is you've got a tax season, okay? So people are owing taxes. We had to pay, $900 in change in taxes this year, which is more than we usually do, but, it's within $1,000, and we were pretty much ready for it. However, that's $900 that is going out of my bank account. That's $900 that's leaving my deposits and, the bank deposit area. Well, if you take that across the board of all the other people that are taking money out to pay their taxes, it's taking a lot of money out of the system. Now, what do banks do? Once your money goes into the bank, it is not your money anymore. The banks can take that, package it up, start to sell loans, buy stuff, sell stuff, trade stuff, whatever. This is how they make money. And so your money is in there. You think it's yours. You look at your little number on the screen and you're like, oh, joy, look at my number on the screen. The problem is that it's not your money, and now they're playing around with it. And as all this is going on, with tax season going on, they've just taken millions and millions, if not billions, actually it's billions of dollars out of the deposits, and the banks don't have that to use anymore, okay? So this year, it wasn't as bad as 2022, but 2024, the bank deposits that came out to pay for your taxes and other things in the last month or so was over $250 billion. So banks don't have that money to play with, and they have to go to other banks. And so it's just kind of taking problems and shuffling it from one bank to another bank to another bank. When you don't have the money in the deposit system to loan out money and to make your money, then you're not going to be able to pay back on other stuff as well as a financial institution. So now what you have going on is this kind of ripple effect of nobody having money in the system and everybody being owed and people not being able to pay back. So Republic Bank, not a small bank, 32 branches across New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York, didn't have the money to pay people back, and they died. Now, thankfully, FDIC came in and took this bank and basically said, hey, Fulton Bank, you're going to be in receivership of it, you're going to take their stuff, and you're going to become the new master of all these funds. Fulton Bank says, okay. I'm not sure of the status of Fulton Bank itself, but the problem is that all of this is going to continue. This is going to happen more and more and more. Republic Bank, or Republic Bank Corp, is the first of many that's going to get going here. Okay, so let's move down. So there's a bar chart for you. Isn't this nice? Don't you love a good jank stream? No more shaky bakey. United States banks finished the year with almost $400 billion of unrealized losses on held-to-maturity assets. The assumption is this wouldn't be a problem because the Fed would cut a lot this year, but what if that doesn't happen? And that's the problem. They're not cutting. That's why your inflation is still going. We are knee-deep in stagflation. That's why you go out and you buy stuff, and it's about a quarter more than it was last time you were there a couple months ago. Inflation monster is not going anywhere. So because of that, they are not cutting, and they're not cutting the rates. When you cut the rates, it means that the inflation goes up. If they cut the rates, the inflation gets even worse. Now, this is something we've talked on this channel, and it sucks. I like to go and do the financial stuff. The problem is it kind of makes your eyes water, and it can be tough to explain, or it's boring. However, this is the kind of thing that's going to really F things up. This is what happens before a financial crash. This is the canary in the coal mine, right? So if they're not cutting and you've got almost 400 billion in unrealized losses, this is the kind of stuff that sets us up for a financial shock, okay? So U.S. banks saw the largest deposit outflows since 9/11, and that is, yes, the 9/11 of 9/11s, okay? Showed earlier, absent 126 billion outstanding as the Fed's BTFP, or bailout fund, which is now terminated and slowly running down as the term loans mature. So last year, you remember, they had Signature Bank and the other one, the one out in California, Silicon Valley Bank. Those banks died. So what did they do? They said, "Uh-oh, we have to come together. We have to make a, I'm streaming, bro. Okay. We have new chickens. We got Silkies, and my kids are loving on them. Anyway, I digress. So now you've got 126 billion in outstanding bailout funds. A year ago, the Fed came together with this big thunder package to take on Silicon and Signature and the other one, I think there's 3 of them, to distribute the pain, put it out there, other banks step up, buy the crappy assets, and basically take one for the team. Well, that funding is now over. It was 1 year long. So in March, that all went down. So now here we are in late April. That's not around anymore. So you don't have the ability to bail anything out. You're going to have to come together with another package to do that. So that is a major problem. So as it says right here, who's next? So these are all major things going on. And of course, I mean, look at that chart right there. 2020, we're doing fine. All of a sudden, shuffling Joe's in, folks. By the way, I found this story. This is something you have to see. Okay, so let's move on from there. Zero Hedge, of course, I get a lot of stuff from. So hat tip Zero Hedge. But he now has to use walkers to conceal the old man shuffle. Okay? So, I mean, you want to talk about property. You remember the cartoon? And again, I'm not one side or the other. I literally hate all the politicians, and there's a very darn good chance I might not be voting. I don't know yet. At least in president. I'll vote for the local people. But, you know, I'm in Maryland. Maryland, it doesn't matter. It's going to be, they'll call Maryland for Joe Biden within the first 10 minutes of the entire election day. But he's got to have his handlers now. They try to do all these things, right? They try to make it so Joe can have all of these ways to kind of prop him up. You remember the picture? It's a cartoon. I think Bronco did it. And it's got like CNN and Fox and Wall Street Journal and all these other media companies, like the iconic lifting of the flag in, I believe, Iwo Jima, right? Iconic picture, all the soldiers from World War II lifting up the flag. Well, it's Joe, like, in place of the flag, and all of these media companies lifting him up. I mean, that's exactly what this is right now. I've never even heard of such a thing. But they're basically saying that Joe, his walk is so crazy, like it's so worried about that they have all these people around him. Look at these people. Look at them. You know, they're like, how can we hide his walk? His walk kind of looks very old manish. I know what we'll do. We'll hire people to come and walk around him as he walks away. Think about that. I mean, why? So this is my question. They're doing all of these things. Why not, like, make your policy, your policy for government, whatever your plan is of action for the government, be good? Why do you have to have this frickin' puppet at this point, which he basically is, and all this crazy shenanigans just to hide things to keep yourself in power. Think about that. They're doing all of this stuff to keep this man in power. Do you know anyone? I mean, literally, think about your personal friends, even if it's your Aunt Crazy Matilda, the cat lady that loves Joe. Can you think of really anyone that is just vocally for Joe Biden? Not just, Democrat Party, I get. You've got your senators, you get your representatives. Those true believers are out there, just like the Republican true believers will be there. But do you know anyone for the man, Joe Biden, that's like, I want him to be my president for another 4 years? I can't think of anyone, to be honest with you. Not a single person. So here he is, and now what they're doing, and exactly, Western Lensman, can't make this up. President Joe has been assigned walkers. Man has to access new codes, now requires aides to escort him across the lawn. These handlers now walk between Joe and the pool cameras to draw less attention. I don't even know where to go with this. Honestly, I'm frightened. I'm of the mind, folks, that whoever gets into office will hopefully be successful. If my, team doesn't win or whatever, you want the other team to be successful. Why? Because if they're successful, things are going good for the entire country. At least that's the mentality, right? Right. We're at a point in it's just absolutely surreal now what is going on. We all, of course, remember. Yeah, I get him falling down. That I actually felt. I'm going to be honest with you. I felt kind of sorry for the guy. It'd be like laughing at your friend's granddad falling over. I know I know the things he's done. I'm not saying sympathy for the man. I'm just saying the moment. Sympathy for the moment. The guy was walking up some stairs and fell, and I don't like to laugh at old people. I'm becoming one myself. Keeps falling. He says 4 more years, and he just kind of sits there, hoping that people will chant it back. Doesn't happen. This is getting kind of bad now. But 38.7% of people are approving of his performance. And I'm sorry, but anybody out there that is listening to my voice knows that number is, think of all what they have to do, like the walkers, all the stuff they have to do, the people coming out, the celebrity endorsements, the stuff that they have to do to prop this man up, all the, kind softball questions that they give him, his proxies, everybody going out, Barack doing, appearances, Hillary doing appearances, Bill Clinton doing appearances, anybody that's got the letter D next to their name doing appearances by proxy to help the man out. And the best that they've got is sub 39%. I would be frightened if I were on their political campaign. 76% of Americans have moderate or major concerns about Joe. How is it that low? Seriously. I don't understand. So you take the other thing. Do you know anyone that's doing well right now? Seriously. My wife and I are gainfully employed, but it's probably been the most stressed 6 months. I'd say the last 6 months have been the most stressed 6 months that we have had since we were just getting set up with our first major house purchase in 2017 is when we did it. This is where we're at, right? We were, your typical starting out family. I had 2 little girls at the time. I have 3 kids now. Bought a house. I wasn't making much. My wife was low in her career too. She wasn't making as much. We overbought in the house, and we were in an incredible, painful time. The only thing that saved us was I played music, and my band got pretty popular, and we were playing about 7-8 shows a month, and that literally paid for everything outside of our bills. It paid for our gas, and it paid for our groceries. Back when $800 could do that for a family of 4. Can't do that now. You can't do that now. The inflation is too much. That was when eggs were 69 cents a 12er. Now they're $2.69 a 12er. So how can anybody, sit here and look at all this and just be like, yeah, man, he's doing a great job. All of them. He's the magic Democrat, though. Don't you worry, folks. He's going to somehow win, I bet. So, I don't know. I'm calling this decline. We're in decline. The country is in decline, as it states right here on dailyjobcuts.com. So let's give you a little vision right there. I'm going to slide it on over in the jank stream. Thanks for coming. That's what I call these things for those that are new here. By the way, if you could hit that like button, that always helps. The engagement and all that. I'm trying to live stream. I had a busy day yesterday. Actually played music. And so we're back doing our thing. But we're in decline. I think that pretty much tells everything you are going right here. Look at this. Florida real estate. Sellers slashing home prices as inventory surges to uncomfortable levels. I've been watching our old area. We sold in 2021 after a major run-up because I knew at that time we were going to get money that we would have never seen before. I had bought and sold a few houses. Yeah, I sold my house, friends, in 2021 with a flyer. I told my wife, I said, I bet I can get this number for the house. And she said, no way, you're never going to do that. That's astronomical. I said, I mark my words, I bet I can get it. We're in a very hot neighborhood, right? And there were 2 open houses going on. And I took flyers and went and distributed about 20 to 30 of them on the cars. And just said, hey, thinking of coming to market. Sure enough, within 48 hours, I had 2 realtors calling me and sold the house with no fees whatsoever to a realtor, just like a lawyer. And, made, we should have, it's ridiculous how much the thing sell. Now, you can't get people to buy. Why? Because the rates have gone over 7%. I don't even know where they're at right now. But let's take a look. There it is. Oh, hold on real quick. All right. I hate it when they do this. All right, whatever. Anyway. All right, back. Anyway, this is... anyway, you get the point. So now, real estate's doing poor. Banks are doing poor. Inflation's going nuts. EVs are not selling. Look at this right here. Hard to sell 10,000 more EVs than... Anyway, nobody wants... Who wants an EV? I want a truck. I don't want an EV. The only truck that I would even... no, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. I want a truck. I don't want an EV. I want gas. I like putting in gas. I don't like being controlled and having to plug this thing in. Besides, the people that bought the trucks, like the Ford Lightning or whatever the heck it's called, they figured out pretty much that even on the speed charger thing, the Tesla superchargers, it takes like 3 hours to charge the thing up completely. And even then, you're only going like 250 miles. Screw that. So, yeah. So here we go. Check out this one in the middle. I think you'll like it. Yeah. Commercial real estate debt is back. 170% jump in sales. So people are buying the debt, and the debt now, of course, is all screwed up. So I like this cursive handwriting one by Stitt. That's as you know, for those who know, I'm in education. You want to make your kids smarter. If they don't know cursive handwriting, you have to teach them cursive handwriting. Cursive handwriting, they've done studies, is one of the best things for them. Cursive handwriting is promotional to, there's centers in the brain, essentially, that if you learn how to do cursive writing, it actually will increase like your aptitude, your ability to read. It's got a strange effect on people. And schools now, of course, are not really doing that. Schools are not teaching cursive. I mean, they're not even teaching kids how to tell time anymore in a lot of cases. So if you can teach your kids cursive writing, that would be a very smart thing to do. But yeah, and then there's this one. You got the property tax thing. Look at that. So all of these, I was talking about the valuation of real estate, right? Real estate goes up, 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 up. Everybody's happy. They're selling homes. They're making money. They're, maybe they're retiring and they're going to go live in an RV. Great. Property taxes might be the smart move to do, is to live in an RV. So if your home was like $250,000 in 2018, and now your home is like $470,000 in 2024, you live in a nice subdivision in Florida, 20 minutes from the beach, whatever you want to call it, and your prices have gone from $250 to $470, you better believe that your local property taxes are going to be catching up on that. So you can put that into the local school system that sucks to pay for that Marxist indoctrinating teacher, so they can come and tell your kid to get confused about everything, with the exception of learning actual history, actual science, and actual language arts like cursive writing. Whew! Telling you, folks. Telling you. Problems all over. Yeah. So, mortgage assistance program opens up in Atlanta. There you go. There's one. I'm sure that's going to be good for you. Oh, yeah, baby. Bristol Myers. I show no love lost for Bristol Myers whatsoever. Sorry, I don't. Let's see what's going on over at Citizens Free Press. There you go. This is a good one. Let's see. Harvey Weinstein's going to the hospital. Oh, I'll cry myself tonight to that one. Let's see. Anyway. Texas Grid. Okay, so there you go. Let's talk about the grid. So, as you know, on the Crisis Report, for those that have been around, Crisis Report is my backup channel. It's just news, right? YouTube.com/@Crisis Report. Mainly cover the SMO in Europe and Israel, Middle East, and some Asia stuff, right? Well, other things are going on. And, with this war coming on, and basically I believe, personally, that we're in the first throes of World War III. I think it hasn't really been announced yet. You're using fifth generation warfare. That's why all of these terrible accidents are happening at, areas that are, whatchamacallit, places like oil refineries and, processing centers for meat and stuff like that. So all of this stuff is going on, and, you've got fifth generation warfare going on. You basically, at this point, are in the first throes of World War III. And, all of our prices are going up. I don't know about you, but our power prices have gone up exponentially. We were paying, March, I think we paid $400, which is the largest bill we've ever gotten on our home. And now we're at a comfortable $200, which is about more what we're used to, but still elevated for where we are. I freaked out and told my wife, we got to turn everything off now. Like You guys remember Dad going around and turning off all the lights, and you going to bed and him turning off the AC and everything, and everybody waking up freezing to death. That's where this old man is now. I'm basically like my father, going around sitting there counting every nickel. But as we crescendo into this whole first throes of World War III thing, what's going to start to happen is the attacks are going to get more, I guess, less away from military stuff and more towards industry, infrastructure, and things like that. And thinking that your local power supply, wherever you may be, is not a potential for eventually getting hit, I think you'd be doing yourself a solid by maybe worrying about the power, right? You know, remember what happened in Texas a few years ago on that freak ice storm, whatever the heck it was. Here in our area, they've shut down one of the centers, one of the main power distributors, and they're rolling it all over into the grid in Baltimore, okay? We used to be on kind of a connected network that was with portions of Western Virginia, portions of West Virginia, different, portions of Southern Pennsylvania, Western Maryland, of course, is where we technically are. But now what they've done is they've taken us and they've put us more on the Baltimore side of the grid. And, of course, that's a problem because Baltimore isn't exactly a functional city at this point. And what's going on is if there is some kind of a blackout, if there's some kind of a problem that happens, and we are, in the ish, Baltimore can't handle it the way it used to be. And so now, I worry about that. But if you think for 1 second that EMPs and other infrastructure-based hits are not going to happen, I don't know. So the big story as of late, if you were catching the crisis report earlier today, the big thing was the ATACMSs, okay? So these are longer range missiles that they've basically given to Kiev, and Kiev is now being able to chuck those into Crimea and other portions and places that go 300 kilometers. They can do some major damage. And now what used to be basically centered in the Donbas, Lugansk, Kherson, and down by Odessa, Crimea, is now going into Western Russia, and they're being able to hit things. And my problem is that I think Mr. Putin is going to take off the gloves. I do. I think Mr. Putin's going to take off the gloves and he's going to start to do things, but I don't think it's not only going to be over there, but also I think he's going to start to do things over here. Like, did anybody here really believe that, like, what happened in East Palestine, Ohio, do you think that was random? Do you think that just kind of happened? I don't. I think that there are foreign actors that attack that. Other things as well. I mean, you can insert, I mean, look at all the barges and the thing. I think they basically have come out now and said that the Key Bridge in Baltimore, that was or is being investigated like a terrorist operation. I've watched the video multiple times. I live not very close, but I live within an hour and a half of that bridge, okay? I've been over it. I take the Bay Bridge every once in a while. And when you watch the video of the thing pulling in, and the lights flicker off, and it's like it turns it in such a way, and then the lights flicker off, and it turns it in such a way again that it basically rams the sucker into the the girding and takes the entire bridge down. I mean, my God! I mean, it was like the guy was radio controlling that boat from a little RC. And perfectly maneuvered it to take out the bridge. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, that stuff is going to start to happen, I think, more and more. I think we're just getting the first kind of scenes and signs of it. And as we go further into this proxy 5th gen war, whatever the heck you want to call it, that kind of stuff is going to get more and more and more and more. And it's going to really start to affect the infrastructure. It's going to start to affect other things. I'm sitting here, I'm calling this decline, right? And how much is it self-imposed, or self-inflicted? But also how much is it inflicted by other people on the outside? I mean, you want to talk about a terrible time to have terrible leadership. This is literally the worst time. And the only thing I can think of when all of this stuff is going on, and I'm watching all this, I'm like, man, what, good Lord, what's up with this? What's up with that? How come, all these crazy things are happening? What is it about East Palestine that made that happen? What is it about Key Bridge that made that happen? What is it about the barge on the, in Oklahoma that made that happen? What is it that's going on? And I think it's pretty evident that we're fighting a war that most people are oblivious to. Lonnie Beatty says the bridge was no accident. Absolutely correct. It was not. How can you watch that and be like, oh, well, I mean, I've been over the bridge. The spires and the girding are very, far from each other. I'm not saying that it's not impossible, but how many boats have floated under that thing in the last however long it was? It's got to be 60, 80 years or something like that, probably longer. Numerous. It's got to be. So I think the main thing, folks, that we really have to understand now is that we're on our own. I mean that. I think really people need to really embrace the fact that we are on our own. I know everybody has this worry that, they're going to come door to door for whatever and they're going to do that. I don't see that happening. I think it's too much of a logistical thing. I think what will happen is they want to get control of the money so they can turn things off when they feel and please. But other than that, services and everything else, we're on our own. There's no way that, all this is going on and it's random. And I think people really need to get into personal responsibility, taking care of things on their own. What's your house going to look like if you're on day 5 of no power? Thankfully, I accidentally had that happen. I became a prepper because of Hurricane Sandy. I saw it firsthand. The entire world went to ish. I saw fist fights over 5 gallons of gas. It was God showed me about 72 hours of Mad Max, and it was enough. I saw it, I lived it, I breathed it. I was the only guy in my neighborhood that had a freaking generator. And the only reason why I had one is because I'm I got a 1-year-old now. I better I better have some extra stuff. It'd probably be smart to have a generator in case the power goes out. I'll never forget it. But now, that Mad Maxness of Hurricane Sandy, instead of being a one-off, a once-in-a-lifetime thing, now I feel like it's every other week. Now I feel like every time I open up the newspaper or the, online and go to the interwebs and turn something on, I'm like, holy crap, I didn't think I'd see that. There are people that are actively saying you're going to be seeing aliens in your lifetime. Yeah, it's totally real. It's documented. The government talks to them all the time. They're going to be bringing them out here pretty soon. Think about that. That's coming. You know it. And whether real or not, I'm just saying something like that is coming. Did you guys see the video yesterday or the day before of the people in New York City? And I don't know where exactly they were, but they are looking at the horizon over New York City, and there's this blue beam light type thing that's going on, and people are like, holy crap, what the heck is that? There's another lady that was in a plane, and this is all over lately, flying over New York City area and saw this cylindrical thing floating around. Now I personally think it'd be more closer to what was going on in the movie They Live. You guys remember the movie They Live? You put the glasses on and everybody's got the Skeletor look to him and takes them off, but he puts them back on. But it's like all the signs are saying obey and everything. But do you remember the things floating in the sky? They had like the little drones floating around. I bet you money it was something like that. Just saying. Just saying. I don't know. I mean, we are... Man, I feel like... Who else feels like Rowdy freaking Piper right now? I feel like I'm freaking Rowdy Piper right now. And, the glasses are on. And I'm seeing all this stuff for what it's worth. Everything is unfolding. And, I get to navigate this sucker with 3 kids and a wife who, she's gotten better, but she's still got a lot of normie in her, I love her. She's wonderful, and I'd die for her, but she could potentially put us into one of those situations when you're watching like a horror film, and you're like, man, why did they do that? They just, that guy's dead now. Like that's the kind of thing she could make that decision, and I'd have to be like, oh God, now I get to go take one for the team. Which I gladly would. I'd do it for her, I'd do it for my kids, but anyway, I'm just playing. Man. Yes, please smash the like. Hudson Valley, Northern Girl Hobbies. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for modding and everything else. I don't know. I just wanted to get on. I had a free time, and I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm reading about this bank stuff. I'm reading about Joe. And, I'm like, of course, it doesn't matter. The guy's going to get into office again. And I'm reading about all this, commercial real estate and everything else and everything. It's crazy. Bless old Rowdy Piper. Starring the best movie in 50 years. Absolutely correct. What a great movie. Where is the like button? My screen looks different. There's actually been reports that on certain channels they don't allow the like button anymore. So, I don't know. If you have a like button and you've liked it, hit a 1. If the screen looks like there is no like button and you're like, what the heck, hit a 2. I would love to see this because I've heard about this. But, might be a lie. All right, yeah, I assumed Skywalker Precious Metals has got to. Maybe it's the way you're holding it. I don't know. Come back later and hit the like. 111. Okay, cool. Interesting. Grateful Preps, New Jersey. Wow. Huh. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that there's a channel called Founded Earth Brothers that said there's no like button. I mean, I don't really care, really. I want the engagement. Leave a comment instead. Say, I like this, if you'd like. But, I mean, that's just, think about that. That's nuts. Anyway. I digress. Yeah, maybe it's the way you're holding it. Maybe it's what you're on. Maybe it's the app. I don't know. So, for those that hit 2, are you on the internet or are you on like an app? Just wondering. So, I'm doing some research right now. I know good old Pinball's about to come on, so I gotta yield to my man. Grateful Preps likes this. Good, thank you. I like you. App, okay. Maybe it's the app. I don't know. On YouTube. Maybe it's the app. Who knows? Maybe things need to update. But I've heard that's a new thing. I mean, whatever. I'm just glad to be here. There was a pretty big channel that was killed last night for no reason. It happens. Tube gonna tube, right, Hudson Valley? There's nothing you can really do about it. All you can do is just keep chucking your feet, doing your best, trying to spread the word. So, good news is all you people just hit that like button and, yeah. So, MacBook has a thumb. So, Prepper Book Club, good to see you. MacGyver Prepping, good to see you. Moldy, always good to see you, brother. All right, Nose Pickens here. Oh, that's a big house. We got everybody here. All right, friends. I just wanted to pop on and do a little live stream before old Pinball got on and spread his wisdom. Please join the prepper community. Go check out everybody. Like I said the other day, Popular Report had a community post from 2 days ago asking where you get your news from. And 7 or 8 people said they get it from me. I really appreciate that. But if you're looking for other channels, all the channels that were put into the list of the comments, they're great channels. There's Bear, there's Pinball, there's Magic, there's Prepper Nation, there was Angry, you name it, all kinds of people. So go check that out if you're looking for some new channels. Other than that, folks, God bless you all. I'm gonna cash it in right now, and I appreciate you. Keep prepping, folks. Big crap's coming, so you're gonna have to be prepared. And like all the people that are doing the prepper channel thing, Hudson Valley, I'm talking about you, man. We're trying to make it so you guys are understanding just how precarious crap is, and you can help protect your family. Okay? I know that's why my man HVPS is into this. All right, friends. God bless you all. I will see you on the next one tomorrow night.